Before getting into the video, let me explain the sole purpose of making this video. A lot of students have been inquiring me and asking me this question: if the prospect of the future of a student is really worth it if he goes to a non-development role, and especially support kind of roles which are given to students who are in Gen Z kind of roles and who are in TCS Ninja. Most of the students who are go by this role as a fresher are going to get non-development kind of roles, and students have been asking me if it is really worth it, and will their future prospect, and are they going to have a good future, and based on income growth, various other aspects. And in this video I'm going to cover firstly the basic differences between development and non-development kind of roles. What is the basic difference, what are the criteria inside each of the thing, and how is it going to differ in your career, and how you can change from one field to another, and various other aspects. I'll be talking about all the things you need to know, and then you can decide by yourself if you are really prospective of choosing these kind of roles for freshers, or you really want to jump to other development kind of roles. So why delay, let's dive in right into the video. First, let's talk about non-development kind of role, because most of the students are going to get recruited to the mass placements, and most of them are going to get allocated to the non-development roles. So first, let's talk about that. Coming to non-development kind of roles, what are the roles inside this and what kind of fields are covered here? Testing, infra, and cloud infra, UX, DevOps, these kind of fields are covered here, and even support roles are covered in the non-development kind of roles. And one known fact, fortunately or unfortunately, if you work for about 7 to 8 years in just the support non-development kind of roles, you are more likely to get into on-site projects. This is because you are more focused or more working on a specific kind of tools, or testing those kind of tools in a company, and only that can be done on site. Coming on comparatively this with development kind of roles, it is just a normal development where you work anywhere in the world and it can be deployed anywhere. So that is, you won't, then less chances of getting on-site opportunities for development kinds of role. So that's one advantage of non-development roles. But what really is non-development role, or what really is support role, is that you are going to be an intermediate between your client and developer, and you are going to communicate or take the inputs of how the project is going to be from the client, and you are going to give the details to the developer, and they are going to develop it and they are going to deploy it. You are going to basically take care of the project that was developed by the developer in various aspects. And basically coming on to the support engineer, we have heard about L1, L2, L3 kind of levels in support engineer kind of roles. And basically L1 is where the term how may I help you comes into place, and these kind of people usually take the calls from the client, and they check out with various other skills they have, and they're basically they help the client in solving the problems. And when the difficulty increases and goes on increasing, L2 support engineer and L3 senior support engineer, these kind of people come into place. So basically you can assume it as a steps where L1 has a basic knowledge, and L2 has some other higher knowledge, and L3 has advanced knowledge. They are going to be deployed on various problems whatever clients would have faced. They are going to check it out, and based on their knowledge they are going to check that, and they are going to resolve the issues of the client. But non-development roles, especially the support engineer roles, they are not going to have a deep knowledge on specific one or two languages. Compare this with the developer kind of roles. So basically they are going to have a vast knowledge on various tools, and especially if a company has Tata or TCS, they would have already have a separate testing kind of tools for their own companies or their own deployment. So yeah, they should have good knowledge on those tools as well, and also they are going to have vast knowledge on various other tools and various other programs being used. But developer is where he's focused, and you basically advanced or has a deep knowledge in 2 or 3 languages, and that is how the works goes on. And you need to understand this basic difference. From this, what I infer is that if you are very good in programming, and if you wish to prosper in programming, and if you wish to proceed your career in programming, go and try for development kind of roles and not try for non-development kind of role. If you are settled, or if you have already received a non-development kind of role, try simultaneously off campus or other jobs as well. try as soon as possible now itself. Try the other roles where you are interested or which can put you on track for development roles. This is because once you start with development role, the process of learning decreases. You keep on improving your communication skills, email writing skills, and these kind of skills. But instead, when you start working as a developer, you try to improve your coding skills. Those are not much improved in support engineers or non-development kind of roles. So this is one drawback, and you need to understand what are the future prospects you are interested. If you are interested to work in development kind of role, grab an opportunity, try for other jobs as well, because this is not going to be the right place if you are not interested in that. And basically, if you are not good in programming, and as I am, we are not CS engineers, so basically we are not that good in programming, and so that's one of the reasons where we can choose non-development kind of roles. So yeah, one important question which arises is that is non-development going to have less growth and development going to have greater growth, etc.? I would say this is not like that, and you shouldn't consider the aspect of growth here, because every role, development or non-development, has their own growth or their own aspect of rising in the market. When you jump from one company to another, basically this is a well-known fact that this is an unfortunate situation where non-developers would have an hike based on the market demand and what are the skills they know, but developers are going to have much greater hike when they jump from one company to another. But you should also understand the fact that non-developers from good companies like Microsoft or cloud manager or cloud infra service providers kind of non-development kind of roles in good companies are going to have great packages, and they're also going to have good work culture and whatever you expect from a good job, which are from development roles. So you shouldn't expect the salary to be more or high in this case. It is just your own skills. Of course, good companies would have their own tools, and you would be required to learn their own tools. So this is one thing you need to note. The salary package is not you need to focus, but instead you should focus on what future aspects you are interested in. And if you're interested for development kind of roles, or if you're interested in coding, you choose development kind of roles or non-coding. And if you don't have much knowledge, try to improve your knowledge, then you can try to jump to development kind of role in the future as soon as possible, because once you are settled here, it becomes difficult for you to go to development role. Now that we have discussed about salary packages and the growth of the company, growth of the employee in various companies in development and non-development role, let's talk about work pressure. I wanted to give you a vague idea of what the work pressure or work culture really would be amongst development and non-development kind of roles. Basically, in development kind of roles, you're going to deploy something, you're going to get assigned to something, so you are expected to submit something by deadline as soon as possible. And sometimes when you are paid on hourly basis by some companies, you are expected to have a lot greater work pressure, and you need to understand this. So you are going to have work pressure in development role as well. But the work situation comes where you're required to work only from 9 to 7 in development kind of role. This is not same in service based roles or non-development kinds of roles, where the client is completely dependent on your work for various problems whatever he faces, and he wishes to rectify the problems as soon as possible, right? Imagine yourself in a place of a client, and what would you expect? You are paying money for the service you are receiving from whatever company, right? So you would expect the company to rectify the problem as soon as possible, whatever time of the day it is. Similar thing happens here. If you go on to development kind of roles, especially the support infra, these kind of roles, you are expected to work even off the time of 9 to 7. You are expected, sometimes even the work demands you have to work even in late nights. And also there would be a shift system in service based, because as a service based or service providers, they expect you to work 24/7. So the shift system comes into place. This is not the same in development kind of role, and this is one point you need to understand. You probably would have deployed in the morning period or night period, and this is the shift based system. The work pressure is also going to be quite different. There you need to meet deadlines probably, but you are not going to work overtime. You are going to work for some time, and you have developed something, and that's it, shut down. That is how things work in these two kind of different roles, which you need to understand. Now let's go on to discuss about the important point of this video. Is it really worth it for you to go to Gen Z in Cognizant, or TCS in TCS Ninja role, because these kind of roles are especially for support engineers, because in Cognizant, Gen C, Gen Z Next, Gen Z Pro, Gen Z Elevate, these kind of various roles are present. So most likely Gen Z is going to get support engineer kind of role, because even if you see job description, they have already mentioned that they do not need prior coding knowledge. So what we can expect from this, they are going to train you on the basic kind of whatever requirements are there, and they're going to deploy as a testing and support engineers or these kind of things. Even in TCS Ninja, most likely there is a better chance of getting development role as well. In Ninja role, it depends on company's requirements, but in Gen Z, there are more likely to be deployed as support engineers and not development engineers, that is for sure. So basically these kind of roles, what happen is that you are basically whatever I have explained, you are going to face all the situations of a non-development engineer or support engineer or support kind of roles. So if you are basically wishing for a career in coding or in development, and you're basically you wish that you would learn coding in future, or if you think that you are very well established in coding algorithms, this that more languages, you're able to learn more languages, etc., I would suggest you to go to development kind of role. Of course, most of you would have already got placed in these kind of roles. The placements are already done and still going on. What can you do in these kind of situations? Of course, simultaneously try for off campus or try for other jobs as well. Of course, you don't have much experience, but try as a fresher, try to get a role which is development role, because you are not interested to work here, and you feel this is not what you deserve. So in these kind of situations, you can try for other roles as well. But if you are a person like me, and if you don't know coding, or if you are not well established in coding and you're still learning, this would be a better place for you than development, because even by chance if you land a job, the course of development and the situations you are going to face is going to be harsh, because without proper coding knowledge you cannot go and write lengthy codes, deploy projects, etc. But in service, or that is non-development kind of roles, where already pre-written codes are there, you need to do glitches or just check it out here and there, and also basically edit the code as per the requirements. That is going to be easy, and you're not going to require much coding skills. They're also going to give you training as per company's requirements. So in these cases, when you're like me, you can just go on and proceed with these kind of basic roles of non-development, or else try for other jobs and try to land as soon as possible a developer role. Hope your query is clarified. I haven't prepared much for this video. It was a raw talk. I haven't prepared a script. I wanted to explain you the scenario of what the situations are and how you can preferably select for your future, or whatever role is possible, whatever role you wish to. Hope your queries are clarified. If you still wish for another video, or if you still wish for further details on the same explanation, I can make other video. Do comment what you need in the comment section. I will be happy to reply each and every one of you. Thank you so much for staying out so long. This is Vivek signing off. Stay safe, stay informative. Bye bye.